Alright, well, hello and welcome. This is Cursive from Heptagram again, and we're gonna cover a few things here. Alright, so let's see. So first off, this is Somerset. This is, I guess you can call it the new hub city. Um, so I'm gonna cover crafting in this clip. The reason I prefer Somerset's crafting area over other cities um, is that all the crafting stations are in this room over here. Um, from I'm not really experienced that much with Elder Scrolls. I'm fairly new, but as far as I know, when you go to other cities with crafting stations and stuff, they're usually a little bit more scattered. But over here, they're all around here, so I'm gonna cover them um, in depth, just so people understand what the things they need to know as new players. So, similar to some MMOs, when you want to craft something, you have to actually go to a crafting station. In WoW, you don't have to, but here you do. So when you go to a crafting station, there are two main buttons that you want to keep an eye on. The first one is deconstruct. Deconstruct is like salvaging. You know how in MMOs, like Crifts, for instance, you could salvage gear, and you get mats out of salvaging. It's the same thing here. You don't disenchant the gear to get enchanting items to use to enchant your gear. You can salvage it. So it's in BFA, I think they added scrapping as well. So it's a similar system. But every time you deconstruct, you also level up your crafting. So for clothing, I'm at max, I'm at 50. But every time I deconstructed something, I would get I would level it up as well. Alright, so this is the first button you want to keep an eye on. Why am I telling you this? That way you don't just vendor the armor or the gear that you get and you don't need while leveling. Just go ahead and deconstruct it. So that's the first thing. Second thing is the research. These two are quite important for you to know about when you first start playing. So if you check the gear that I'm wearing, like for instance this belt, you'll find the item's name, the armor, etc. adds 309 magicka, and then it says training. Training is one of the traits that you can add to gear. So if you check this one out, it says invigorating. This one says divines and so forth. There are uh, a few ones that you can pick. So what are these? When you craft an item, you can equip it with a special attribute, which I'm going to cover in a second. When you when you craft it though, if you haven't researched that specific trade before, that means you can't craft items with that attribute. That sounded a bit confusing. So let's actually try it here. Let's say I want to create something. We're going to create robes. I'm going to create it like a level 1 robe. Um, and at the bottom here, trade. Because of research for robes, I've researched sturdy, so I can make it sturdy. I can make it reinforced, training infused. I can give it one of these. When you go to research here under robes, I haven't researched impenetrable. That's why it wasn't there. I haven't researched well fitted, and I haven't researched invigorating, and that one, and I haven't researched that one. So those ones are the ones that the white ones. Those are the ones that are already unlocked. And like when I create something, I can actually give it that attribute. I'm going to show you a couple of those attributes just to see. The sturdy reduces block cost. Impenetrable reduces bonus damage taken from player critical hits, durability damage, armor value, reduced cost of blah blah. Training gives you more XP from kills. Infused increases the item's armor enchantments. Invigorating increases health, magic, and stamina, and divines increases Mundus Stone's effect. Mundus Stones is a stone that you I don't know you get its blessing and blah blah. my every time you research an item, the first research is going to take a couple of hours, and then the second one will take like 4, and then 10, and so forth, until like if you like like I've only got 3 to research here, and the next research will take 5 days, 9 hours to complete. The ninth research will take 22 hours, and then the last, sorry, 22 days, and then the last research will take a month to complete. Yes, real time month, which means that research takes time. This is not something that you need to do quickly in the game at all. This is something that while you play the game, while you're enjoying the game, you're researching. That way, when you actually get to the point where, okay, I want to craft the best gear possible, I want to craft it myself. You already have everything unlocked and you have all the stuff that you want. So, as you level, every time you get an item, you get a choice between researching it or deconstructing it. If you've already researched it, like for instance, I guess I don't have anything here that let's try something else just to show you an example. Excuse me. Right here. So this is the woodworking station. I just want to show you what I was trying to say. So this staff, you're gonna find this yellow magnifying glass here. So I've already researched the training flame, the training inferno staff trait before. So if I go here and go to inferno staff, training has already learned. What does that mean? That means when I get an item, I'm just gonna have to either vendor it or deconstruct it. But I don't want to keep it for research anymore because I've already researched it. And you can't even, like, when you click, nothing happens. Like, you've already researched it. The only thing I can research here is research is precise. So I can just deconstruct it when since I don't need it anymore. If it has a white magnifying glass, that means you can research it. Yellow means you've researched it as well. And if you look at the item at the very bottom on the item window, it'll say known by cursive. That's not the item. That's the attribute, the trait. Known by cursive. That means you can just look at it. Oh yeah, that's known by me. I can just deconstruct it right away. Right. This whole yellow white magnifying glass and the description or the tooltip that says known by cursive, these are all add-ons. Um, the game itself is quite great, but there are add-ons. There are certain add-ons that I'm gonna link like, that I'm gonna mention in another video that are that polish the game, that make it great, make it fantastic, and I would definitely recommend for you to get them. Um, Without those add-ons, for instance, you wouldn't have these magnifying glasses. You wouldn't have that tooltip that says known by cursive, which means that you actually have to go to the crafting table and look and see. Oh, okay, so I've trained. I already have training, so I can deconstruct it. Which it makes your life a little bit harder. So if you have add-ons that make it easier, well, why not, right? So how do you deconstruct? Well, at the very bottom, you'll find E add. I mean, we're under the deconstruct tab, right? At the very bottom, you're gonna find a shortcut. E is add, so I can click E and add it, or I can just right-click on the item and add it from the menu, and then deconstruct or clear selection. So if I click here, deconstruct, it'll break it down and it'll give me items. Well, material. That's how deconstruction works. Well, what about research? Let's go and research that item on clothing that we were talking about. So, so this one will take 5 days, 9 hours. This will take 10 days for the next research. This will take 21 days, as you can see, and, and this will take 5, and so forth. I have this one's going for 4 days, and this one's going for 1 more day. So I'm actually gonna go ahead and pick one that'll take 10 days. That way I have like different times going, different durations of research, and keep the wheel spinning. So I'm gonna pick training, and you click the item that you want to use for to research, and you click research tray. And what happens is that item gets destroyed. You won't have it in your bags anymore or your bank because you're using it to research basically. So again, just to repeat what I was saying, um, those two buttons, deconstruct and research. If you don't care about crafting and you know you'll never care about crafting, then ignore everything I said about research. You don't want to worry about it. Uh, Deconstruct, if you don't care about crafting, again, you don't. You can deconstruct and sell the mats that you get from it over time. Research, you only research if ultimately you're going to craft items. I would definitely suggest that. Some of the best items in game are come from crafting. Um, and they